this morning?
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Singing and praying with my mind stayed on spirit. Singing and praying with my mind stayed on spirit. Singing and praying with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
All right. Now we'll sing I Am as God Created Me, gentlemen. All right, we sing together. Here we go.
I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God
Grand Rising, beloved spiritual community. Good morning. Good morning. Whoever you are, whatever path you're on, you're welcome here. We are a trans-denominational center, which simply means that everyone is welcome. So welcome home. You might be able to feel kind of a vibration in this room. We had 150 people here yesterday celebrating my mom's 100th birthday. So we raised the roof. It's up a little bit higher this morning. It was a wonderful day. It was a wonderful celebration. Another celebration is coming up. Our beloved Dr. Alice is getting her honorary doctorate degree. Yes. It is on July the 20th, and it's at 11 o'clock here at the sanctuary. It's a Saturday. And then after we have the ceremony, we're going to the new restaurant that used to be Sun-Dried Tomatoes. It's called Fettuccine Marciella or something like that. Anyway, it's right over here. And at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a celebration lunch. So we want you all to join us. So you need to sign up. The tickets are $40. So please go to our website or sign up somewhere here today and go to the bookstore and sign up to come to this wonderful celebration. Because we're all about partying here, right? We're all about partying and celebrating everyone, each and every person. My name is Judy Chapman, and I am your assistant minister, and I'm just so grateful today to be here and to be here with you because I just love you all and just connect with you all. So we're going to start the service with our flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence that we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of peace and the path of unity. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as our practitioner, Tony Sparks, lights that last candle, let it represent the path that brought you to this service this morning. Now please join me for 2 minutes of sacred silence.
Let us go into prayer. God is the creator of all good. It is light, it is power, it is perfection, wholeness, and completeness. God is everywhere present, and it is the infinite intelligence and wisdom and clarity of all good. And there is only truth with God. It only knows truth. It speaks to us through its intuition, through our intuition. And we are connected with Spirit. And we are unbounded and unstoppable as we reveal exactly who we are as spiritual beings. And I know that this light, this power, this wisdom, this intelligence lives within us, inspiring us, granting us more and more of its good. And I know that this morning unfolds with beauty, with ease, with joy, with connection with each other and connection to the Word. And that everyone is sitting with their hearts open and their minds open to receive all the good that is being imparted to them. And I am so grateful for this morning as it unfolds in magnificence and beauty and harmony and good, so that each one of us is revealed to them a little more truth, a little more of the goodness that resides within and all around. So with this grateful heart, I release this word into the law, into the action and power of the magnificence that God is, knowing that it's already done, it's already so, as we say together. And so it is. And now I'd like to read a portion of our global vision. The entire global vision is out in your foyer if you're interested. So let's read it together mindfully. We see a world that works for all, where humanity awakens to spiritual magnificence, where forgiveness is the norm, where resources are valued, cared for, and shared, and where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all. And now let's read today's affirmation mindfully. I am free from limitations, unstoppable in God, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Tony. I was so happy when I came in to see who we're having for our guest vocalists. So let us give a warm welcome once again to John Nichols.
Well, good morning. Good to have you. Good to see you all again. It's always a pleasure to come back and play every 3 months or so. It's smiling faces and happy people. I love it. It's all great. First song I'm going to do has a bit of a story behind it and how it was written. Song by Toby Keith. And several years ago, he was out on a golf course playing golf with Clint Eastwood. And at the time, Clint was probably in his late 80s. And today's theme was kind of unbounded, meaning you have or the appearance of having no limits. And so I thought this story was kind of prominent simply because Toby Keith and Clint were out there on the golf course, and Toby asked Keith, he said, Toby asked Clint, how do you keep doing it? And Clint said, well, at 88, I'm starting a movie next Monday. And then he said, but I got to tell you, Toby, I get up in the morning and I don't let the old man in. So, Clinton was working on a movie called The Mule at the time. Some of you might have heard about it. And so Toby Keith went home and took that I don't let the old man in phrase and wrote a song. And it turned out to be something that Clint put in the movie at the very end. So that's the story behind it. And you have no limitations. None. So. Don't let the old man in. I wanna live this more. Can't leave it up to him. He's knocking on my door. And I knew all of my life that someday it would end. Get up and go outside. Don't let the old man in. Many moons I have lived, my body's weathered and worn. Ask yourself how old you would be if you didn't know the day you were born. Try to love on your wife and stay close to your friends. Toast each sundown with wine. Don't let the old man in. Many moons I have lived, my body's weathered and worn. Ask yourself how old you would be if you didn't know the day you were born. When he rides upon his horse and you feel that cold, bitter wind, look out your window and smile. Don't let the old man in. Look out your window and smile. Don't let the old man in. Toby Keith.
Thank you so much. That was great, John. Wonderful story behind it too. I appreciate it, especially being a movie buff. Who else loves the movies? Yeah, absolutely. I think we love them because they tell us stories. So let's give the band and John another hand. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, as customary, when we start our time together, we've been saying to each other, what is it? Grand Rising. Right, that's our theme for the year, this idea that we really do rise in a grand way. We rise to the power that lives within us. We rise to the amazing life that we have accepted and are living each day, one day at a time. I also want to wish the dads who might be watching or who might be here, happy Father's Day. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Both my stepdad and my father have passed on and made their transition, but my son is the only father in our family at this point, and I wish you, son, a happy Father's Day as well. So this theme of Grand Rising has all these sub-themes that we're working with. And of course, last week we had Reverend Arpad, and the week before I talked about this idea of holy boldness. Holy boldness. And it really fits into this theme of Grand Rising, of really rising up to the the power and the presence within ourselves. And today, I want to talk to you. You've heard a couple people allude to it in the treatment and in some of the things that people have said on the platform already. We're talking today about unbounded and unstoppable. Unbounded and unstoppable. Those are two words that really resonate with the power of this teaching. Excuse me. The power of this teaching. That indeed we are always working with this immutable presence, this thing that makes the grass grow. You can't stop it from giving itself to life. You can't stop it from pouring itself into all creation. And as I looked at this theme, I was reminded of our declarations of principles. It also helps that I'm teaching the Essential Ernest Holmes class. And one of the assignments in that class, besides Jesse Jennings gleaning the best and the best of what Ernest Holmes teaches in that book, we're also looking at the declarations of principle. Do you all know what I'm talking about when I say the declarations of principle? These are statements that many, many moons ago, when the Science of Mind magazine was just getting underway, it may have even been called something else at the time, Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, was asked, what does this philosophy stand for? And he spouted off 15 principles. 15, and so we have adopted them as our declaration of principles. And the first two come to mind when I think of this idea of unbounded and unstoppable. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. And the second one, this one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. So we have this idea of this one presence that is in and through all of life, and it's not absorbed by everything that it creates. It's a pretty cool idea, isn't it? What does that mean? What does he mean when he says that the one Spirit isn't absorbed by its creation? Well, I think it means that the givingness of the one power is forever pouring itself into life. It is ever, it is always moving into form, but it keeps moving. It keeps pressing into life through us, by us, through our thoughts, through our beliefs, through the things that we carry, and it is always moving. It doesn't stop and say, I think I'll be Alice's career forever. It doesn't stop and say, I think I'll be this relationship forever. It continues to move forward. And that's why we have that pesky thing called change, right? And some changes are good, some changes are not so good. Oh God, am I going to tell this story? It reminds me of the story of the man. You've probably heard it a bunch of times, there was a great man who had a farm and a son, and the farmer didn't have any livestock, and so the townspeople were like, that's terrible, you don't have any livestock on your farm. You don't have any horses to work the fields or to get you from place to place. And the farmer simply said, I don't know if it's good or I don't know if it's bad. The next week, suddenly there were a bunch of wild horses that came onto his land, and the son corralled them, and the townspeople ran in, and they were like, oh, this is wonderful, you have horses again. And he said, I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's bad. The following week, the son was working the horses and breaking them, and he fell off the horse and broke his leg. And of course, come on, you say it with me. The townspeople came in, and he said, I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's bad. And then finally, the village governors came through, and they began to gather up all the young men to fight a battle. Of course, the farmer's son couldn't go. So the moral of that story is that change is always happening, and we don't know what the big picture is. We don't know if what's happening, the change that we're moving through, this immutable spirit that is moving in and through life and through us and through our experiences and through our culture and through our nation and our world, we don't know at the moment. It may feel good to you. At the moment, it may be really cool, you know? It might be something that you really wanted. And then change comes along, and something shifts, right? And that we have this, what I'll call a rebirth in our daily lives as we move through this thing we call life as we live it. And so when we talk about this idea of a spirit, a power, a presence that is pouring itself into life, it manifests the universe by means of us, by means of our experience, and it doesn't get absorbed by it. But who does get absorbed by it? Me, you, right? We get very attached to this thing called life. We get really wrapped up in what it is that we are creating, what it is that we want, what it is that we don't want. We get really wrapped up in it. And the tricky part is that we're working with this thing called the creative process. Now, you all know I like to talk about the creative process, especially if you take a class with me, because it is the secret sauce to this philosophy. It is the science behind the manifest universe, this power that is always creating out of itself. And the tricky thing about the creative process is that it'll just create. And it'll create the same thing over and over again. It'll just keep saying yes to us, and we'll keep having this experience until we change our minds and decide we want to have a different experience. This creative process wants to move by means of us, wants us to have the experience that's before us. And I really love this quote from the beginning of the Science of Mind textbook, where Holmes writes, "And so great is this power, so complete is our freedom in it, so absolute the domain of law through it, that the misuse of this power has brought upon us the very conditions from which we suffer. We are bound because we are first free." Now, I feel like that statement needs to be unpacked a little bit. It's a very powerful idea that we are bound because we are first free. And I think that sometimes the low-hanging fruit when we look at that idea is, you know, something happens in your life and you think, well, what's in my consciousness that I created this, right? Well, it's true. What we hold in our consciousness is what we experience. But it not necessarily means that if you get a diagnosis that's pretty tough to take, that somewhere along the line you were like, I think I'll create this. You know, I think I'll have my body break down. I think I'll have this disease come upon me. It isn't that conscious. In fact, you know, as I like to share when we're talking about this idea of creation, that we create in 4 ways. We create something, we allow something that's coming into our lives, we promote something that's coming into our lives and our experience, and sometimes we just step in it. And when we step in it, it's the opportunity to go back to square one. Do we want to create, allow, or promote? Many of you know I had a pretty major health challenge about 2 years ago. And to this day, I had somebody yesterday, I don't think they're here today, somebody yesterday who was saying, well, why do you think you created that? I don't think I created a brain aneurysm. I'm here to tell you. But I'll tell you what I did create. I created an amazing soulful experience where I was brought back to wholeness. I allowed it by going to see a doctor and getting some treatment. I promoted it by surrendering myself to the care of my surgeons and my doctors. And I created an experience where I was able to really see the doctors, the instruments, the personnel. The whole thing was God-informed. I knew that the brilliance in the surgeon that did the surgery on me was imbued by the divine. I knew that all the loving care that I received was part of the divine in expression. And while I was going through that process, I used practitioners. And our practitioners prayed for me so that we could lift me up to a place of greater wholeness. And so when we look at this idea that we are bound because we are first free, it's because we're always at choice. We have a choice when we have a situation that comes up, when we step in things. And I don't know about you, but I'm stepping in a lot of stuff lately. And when I step in something, when I step into a situation, it's easy to get all wrapped up in it, right? I'm like absorbed by whatever it is that's happening. And when I can get the presence of mind and pull out my spiritual toolkit, the tools that we promote here in the Centers for Spiritual Living and in this philosophy, when I remember to do that, I can call a practitioner. I can do an affirmation. I can do a spiritual mind treatment. I can pause and I can go within and I can create a sense of calm and then I can look for inspiration. There are so many amazing tools that we offer and they all come from the one unbound, unstoppable givingness of grace that is always available to us. That is always available to us. Now Holmes has this other quote that he talks about. Well, first I want to mention that he says that we are, here's the sentence, that the misuse of this power has brought upon us the very conditions from which we suffer. And I really don't think we create suffering. I think we promote it. I believe that suffering happens only because we give power to the condition or the experience that we might be in the middle of. And that there really is no power in suffering, that we have this opportunity. There's no virtue in suffering, that we have an opportunity to move from the condition back to the cause, to re-engage the givingness of the creative process that wants to experience something different by means of us, that it wants to experience the same thing or something different. It's up to us to be directive. The other piece that I was going to bring in here from Holmes was actually in the Science of Mind magazine for today's reading. And so our friend, Reverend Raymond Anderson, pulled this quote from one of Holmes's lectures. And Holmes writes, "A metaphysician is not one in my estimation who says that people are not sick or hungry or poor or weak or unhappy or that they are not born in this world and die to it. Rather, the metaphysician is one, it seems to me, who includes all that is in what is. The ups, the downs, the good, the bad, whatever, without ever having to admit that there is any final dualism, any final evil, or any final problem of the spirit." So Holmes it might feel like these ideas might have a little bit of conflict in them, but they don't. Holmes is reminding us that it is what it is, that the things that happen in the world before us are the opportunities for us to step into that place of being creative, of whether we're going to allow something or promote something or use our marvelous minds and hearts to create something different. Holmes is reminding us that we have that power. And Raymond's idea in today's reading in the Science of Mind magazine was that we can't change a condition until we name it. We can't extract our power from an unwanted condition until we acknowledge it. And so don't be afraid to acknowledge a negative condition. It's an opportunity, friends. It's an opportunity to engage the unbound and unstoppable spirit that wants to move through you for a different experience, one that from this unlovely experience to the experience that you want to have. This is where we have our agency. And the Spirit is not sitting around like, she's been good lately, I'll give her what she wants. He's not so much, she's going to have to suffer some more. All of that is on us. All of that is on us. We are bound because we are first free. And it is that freedom that allows us to rise above conditions once we've acknowledged them, once we've recognized the power and the investment we have in them. Back to my story about the aneurysm that I had, there came a point where I wasn't taking any, I couldn't take any opioids because of another condition I have. And so the pain was pretty available to me for a couple of months. And there came a point where I recognized that I kind of had a relationship to the pain. Like, it was a friend. It was really present. And every morning I woke up to greet it. And every morning I began to work with it. Like, okay, I'm going to take my Tylenol. I was using caffeine. That was really helpful for what I was working with. And when I recognized my attachment, I also recognized my part in the suffering. And something kind of amazing happened. Like, once I became conscious to that, like, it went away. Like, whatever was happening within me, I was able to move to a place of fully functioning again. Our minds are our servants. They are there to help guide us. And when we hit up against those negative conditions, those things that are unlovely, the things that are challenging in our life, that is simply an opportunity for us to make a choice. It's simply an opportunity for us to acknowledge that whatever is before us is the condition. It is the old form of cause that has moved through us, has moved through you, has moved through me to create the condition that we're experiencing, and we have a choice. And that choice is, do we want more of this, or do we want to create something different? Because we're working with an unbound, unstoppable, forever loving, complete, absolute, self-existent cause that is not absorbed by its creation. So, if I want to be in pain, I'll talk about myself here. If I want to be in pain for a little longer, sure. If I want to find a way to move into greater wholeness and a greater way of being, sure. This powerful presence that we're always working with just gives and gives and gives. It never stops giving, friends. But it gives what we're willing to receive. And so we too can imbue those beautiful qualities of being unbound and free and unstoppable when we're willing to surrender to the power and the presence that lives within each one of us, that lives all around us, that moves through us. It's an invitation every day. So as we continue to move through this grand rising, and I'll take a page from John's song, whether it's the old man you're not letting in, maybe it's the feeling of unworthiness that you won't let in when you get up in the morning. Maybe it's the feeling of no one loves me. Maybe it's the sense of not having enough. We don't have to let them in, but we do have to acknowledge they're at the door so that we can decide what we do want to let in, so we can decide what it is we do want to create and promote and allow. You are unstoppable. Sometimes you're unstoppable by yourself, but when you align yourself with Spirit, when you align yourself with your values, when you align yourself with the greater good, and you allow it to work through you, as you, and by you, you are truly unstoppable. Thank you very much. So let's have some spiritual practice here, and I'll go ahead and I'll do a spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer. As I center myself in grace, I know that it is in me and as me and by me and all around me. I trust that this grace is simply meeting me wherever I'm at. I can choose to accept it. I can choose to surrender to it. I can choose to allow it and promote it. For what I know about Spirit is that it just wants to give me all that it is. That there's no place, there's no withholding, there's no desire for suffering. Spirit just wants to expand, wants to create, wants to move through us. And so we decide what is our good. And we accept all that Spirit has to offer. So I know for each one that we use this beautiful, innate connection where we don't know where we end and Spirit begins, and we allow it to move through our lives in ways that are powerful and beautiful, that create good not only for ourselves, but for everyone in our sphere of influence. And it is this grand rising, this rising up to the power and the presence of the one mind, the one heart, the one love, that allows us to be that creative force in the world for greater good. And so I know for each one within the sound of my voice that we are clear, we are awake, we are alive, we are available. And we simply give ourselves back to Spirit as it has so freely given itself to us. And it is in this space that I am so grateful for this beautiful way that the Spirit continues to represent itself over and over again. And I know for each one that we are a beautiful representation of that life in all that we do. And it's with gratitude that I simply anchor this prayer in that unstoppable and unbound power, knowing that good and greater good is ours. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. And now it's time to bring back our band and John Nichols to treat us to another song.
Right. All right, here we go. So, happy Father's Day. So, yeah. So I picked this song for Father's Day. It's an old Holly Dunn song from years ago. It goes like this. I remember Daddy's hands folded silently in prayer and reaching out to hold me when I had a nightmare. You could read quiet stories in the calluses and lines, years of work and work, left their mark behind. I remember Daddy's hands, how they held my mama tight and patted my back for something done right. There are things that I've forgotten that I loved about the man, but I'll always remember the love in Daddy's hands. Daddy's hands were soft and kind when I was crying. Daddy's hands were hard as steel when I'd done wrong. Daddy's hands weren't always gentle, but I've come to understand there was always love in Daddy's hands. I remember Daddy's hands working till they bled, sacrificed unselfishly just to keep us all fed. If I could do things over, I'd live my life again and never take for granted the love in Daddy's hands. Daddy's hands were soft and kind when I was crying. Daddy's hands were hard as steel when I'd done wrong. Daddy's hands weren't always gentle, but I've come to understand there was always love in Daddy's hands. Daddy's hands were soft and kind when I was crying. Daddy's hands were tough as steel when I'd done wrong. Daddy's hands weren't always gentle, but I've come to understand there was always love in Daddy's hands. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Give it up for the band. You got the best right here.
Thank you so much, John. That brought tears to my eyes. That was a beautiful song.
Observation earlier, there was a gentleman in the back when I first came in before you all got here, and there was a lot of Kleenex being placed out tonight or this afternoon. So,
Yes, yes.
Hopefully we got you covered.
Yes, good. Let's give him another hand. And our fabulous band
Yeah.
and our wonderful songbirds, let's give them a hand. Thank you so much. You know, I wanted to say that we have not so much a guest, we have a person in the house was our spiritual leader for 22 years. Dr. Heather Clark is here today. And she is going to be our speaker next week. So spread the word, and we're so delighted that you're here for a couple weeks. We get to visit with her and have dinners and party and do everything. So it's wonderful. Welcome here back. Welcome home, Dr. Heather. Okay, it is time now for our conscious committed giving. If my stewards would please come forward. Thank you. Scoot over a little. Scoot over this way. Yeah. If this is your day to give your gift, thank you very much. If this is your day to bless this center, there is a blessing card in the chair in front of you, and you can hold that blessing card to your heart and bless it and fill it with love. You know, this center is supported by your time, your talent, and your treasure. So we thank you so much. So let us say our prosperity affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Your love
Your love
will light
will light
the way.
the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Your joy
Your joy
will light
will light
the way. Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Show me the way.
Your peace
Your peace
will light
will light
the way. Na 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 namaste. Na 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 namaste. Nama 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 namaste. Na 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 namaste. Na 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 namaste. Nama 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 namaste.
These gifts go out into our community. We know that each recipient is blessed with abundance, joy, happiness, and good fortune. So we bless these offerings as they go forth, and so it is. Thank you. As I mentioned, this center is blessed by having so many volunteers and so many people that are here to help and give their sacred service. So if you've been in service for this week, please stand so we can acknowledge you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We also have practitioners that are trained in the art and the science of affirmative prayer. So we sometimes call that spiritual mind treatment. Our practitioners today are Bonnie Charney. She has been sitting in the back of the room today, praying for each and every one of us that we have an open mind and an open heart so that we can receive all the good that is coming to us and the inspiration that is coming to us today. So Bonnie is one of our practitioners. Jill Barnett is another one of our practitioners, and Tony Sparks, who lit the candles. So they are available for you. If you heard Dr. Alice say, when she was going through her little bump in the road, right, she used a practitioner. We all need to have someone that can see the truth of us when we can't see it for ourselves. And sometimes we're just too close to a situation or to a circumstance. So use our practitioners. They're available at the back tables and one in the Tranquility Room today if you would like to have an affirmative prayer to put you back on their path and align you with Spirit. Also, let's see. Is there anyone new here today? Do we have any new guests? If you do, you could raise your hand and we will bring you a gift. And in that bag is a coupon for a book. So you would just take it to the bookstore and receive your gift. So I know we do have a couple new people. Let us welcome our guests today. So thank you for joining us, and I do hope that you return next week. Very special week next week. Okay, so now it is time to bring to the platform Clark Wilson.
Yellow. Can you hear me back there okay? Yeah, well then be quiet. Pay attention. Conscious Connection will meet today in the multi-purpose classroom. You should have received an email this week with an invitation to a celebration of sacred service. Our own Reverend Dr. Alice Reed received an honorary doctorate of divinity earlier this year in recognition of her many years of dedicated service to the International Organization of Centers for Spiritual Living. And you've already been told, yes? And that celebration will be held on July 20th. Now, if you bid on one or more of the Gatherings and Gourmets for God events, and you are still wondering about the results of the bidding, you will find invoices on the back table. Payment for your events is requested by next Sunday, June 23rd. Just take the invoice to the bookstore. We highly recommend that you take one of these and brochures home with you so that you have a reference for all of the information about the events. Here are some coming attractions. Oh boy. Yoga classes with instructor Mike Ward begin this week. Choose Monday evening class at 6 p.m. or a Tuesday morning class at 10 a.m. Bring a yoga mat. Dr. Heather Dawn Clark will be here for Aidan Greeney's Celebration of Life next Saturday, and she has agreed to be our guest speaker next Sunday, the 23rd, and I know we're all looking forward to that. Okay, Friday the 28th, Kirtan chanting will be available each fourth Friday. This is a spiritual practice of chanting mantras in a group setting for the purpose of honoring the divine, purifying one's consciousness, and bringing peace and joy to your soul. Now, all are welcome. Anyone can chant. You do not have to be a great singer. You owe it to yourself to experience this unique type of worship at least once. There is much more to come this summer, such as movie nights on the second Friday nights in July and August. We're looking forward to that. And the second annual talent showcase on August 30th. A sign-up sheet for the showcase is posted on the kiosk by the door. Here are the ongoing weekly happenings. Conscious Connection is a small group discussion about the topic of today's message. It will be in the multipurpose room. Wednesdays with Mary is a book study group from 9 to 10:30 a.m. on Zoom. Wednesdays, of course. This week we will begin a new book titled The God Theory by Bernard Heesch. Where am I at? Meditation classes are taught on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the multipurpose room by Dr. Christian Steele, MD. Shifting Sands will meet as usual this Thursday from 10:30 to 12:30. And the support group with Joyce Fournier on Zoom will meet this Friday morning at 8 a.m. Now, if you want more information about these ongoing events, check out the brochure in the lobby, the one with this beautiful mandala on the cover, or read the newsletter sent electronically to you every Monday and Friday. And now a note to all volunteers. Next Sunday, we will be taking a picture of all the volunteers. It'll be a group picture, so we're asking all the volunteers to show up next week for the group picture because it will then be placed in a prominent position on the website. And now, if you don't mind, please do stand and sing your little hearts out.
One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one
Repeat after me. I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. Because I am one with all. Because I am one with all. And so it is.